Hey everybody. I have felt led to talk about loss um, as it's pertaining to secondary losses. But before I do that, I just wanted to talk about loss can be in many forms. It does not have to be someone who passed away. It could be a divorce. Maybe you had to give up your child for adoption, and you don't have, connection or communication with them. It consists of so many different things. It's not just losing somebody. But when I talk about my videos, most of my videos are going to be talking about losing a spouse because that's my experience. Um, and that's just what it is. So, just to give you an idea, I will try to generalize some of it, but I can't really give you a true connection unless I've experienced the other types of losses, which some of them I have. But so there is what's called secondary losses. So for me, because my husband was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, he struggled with the cancer for over a year. So within that time frame, I started experiencing secondary losses. And what secondary losses is, it's basically you're losing things that you would have done with your person because of the illness. So for instance, it was where we couldn't go to the store because his immune system was compromised. We couldn't hang out with some of his friends or our friends because, again, his immune system was compromised. It was getting to the point where, as the disease progressed, all kinds of losses happened, you know? So things like someone to help me with the dishes, or someone to make dinner, someone just to be there to talk to and listen to, someone to tell your day about. And even the more internal, not internal, but more physical components of a relationship, that also leaves or goes away or dies, if you want to call it that. So there's a lot of things called secondary losses, and they're just as important as the primary loss. So the primary loss in my case was my husband. The secondary losses are many. So it could be anything from, the grocery shopping together, going to a movie, going to be able to eat out, enjoying some time outside of the house after having treatment, someone who can help me take the trash out. Those things that we did together that seemed minor actually became huge, and they are considered secondary losses, and they're just as important to know as primary losses. So things that you've missed out. So for instance, once he got to a certain level in his treatment and it wasn't really working, so when he was in hospice care, I lost so much. I lost, and I'd already had started having some of these secondary losses, but I had lost my future that we planned, our future that we planned together. I lost our goals and dreams. And it was just a lot. And I want you guys to know that secondary losses are just as important as primary. And it's just the way it works. So it's really hard. I know the first, few months after my husband died, you don't even realize how much your spouse does until they're not there. And then that makes, at least for me, it made me really angry. Like, why isn't he here anymore? How am I going to do this myself? So for instance, like I had an issue with my car after he passed away. I didn't know what to do. I needed help getting air in my tires. Like he did all that. He cooked most of the time. So those kinds of things. But like I said, even the little ones, like just getting a hug from him, missing touch in general from your spouse after they pass away. These are just things that people don't think of, but they're just as important to understand. So I just want you to think about, depending on what your loss is, you know, you shouldn't get upset with yourself. Why am I so upset? So for instance, I remember I had so much trash to take out, and my husband and I usually did it together. And I hadn't taken the trash out in a while, so there was like lots of cans and they were heavy and things. And I had a breakdown. I totally had a breakdown because I didn't feel like I could do it by myself. So that's an example of a secondary loss. And, it does happen. I worked through it, obviously, had a little bit of a breakdown and crying fit and an anger fit, but I worked through it. So I don't want you to think that you're going crazy. Why are you upset over, the trash in my case? I also remember I was upset about the bar of soap. I went to clean the shower, and he had a new bar of soap that was out there, and I got so upset. I couldn't throw that bar of soap out for a long time. And I was just really angry that, he passed away before he could even use that soap. I mean, you know, it's not minor. It's a big deal. Everything is a big deal. So in the beginning, it's really intense as far as your feelings and what you're experiencing and things like that. It does lessen, and I know it's like right, really, people keep telling me, yeah, things get better with time. I'm not saying they get better with time. It just, the grief is not as intense. And, you can start thinking about the good times. Because I couldn't remember anything but bad times. The sickness in his last few weeks of life, really, is all I could remember for a long time. And then when I started healing and remembering some of the good things we did, I realized that, I'm moving forward, however slow I think I'm going or fast, through my journey, my grief journey. That's when I started realizing that, the disease itself didn't take our relationship away or our love away. So, yeah. So anyways, I just really wanted to talk about secondary losses. I mean, for instance, another one for me was when my husband died. He walked the dog, and, the dog Marigold, and then we're best friends. And she was kind of hard to walk because she was reactive to dogs. And I was like, how am I going to deal with her now that he's gone? I mean, this was a big concern, but I ended up getting her trained. So, intense training. But back to the point was where that was another secondary loss. Who's going to walk the dog? So all those things do matter. And I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, why am I getting upset over a piece of paper or a tissue, or, you heard a song on the radio, or whatever it is. That's normal. Don't get upset with yourself. Just deal with the emotions and keep moving forward, however small you think you're doing or whatever. I never felt like I was moving forward until other people saw it in me. And I'm still struggling with, moving forward with the new relationship and missing my old relationship and things like that. But that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to talk about secondary losses, and please give yourself grace, and God loves you.